Well, that one was crazy. One and all, if fast food services in 2025 was as quick as game number one between B and Anatand, my food would actually arrive warm. Anno has swiftly taken the lead, but B is looking to strike back quick. Knights Templar for game number two. We're heading into Pants. Good old Lakeside here. A strong map. And actually, I think my favorite map I've seen Knights Templar on so far. They've got that trickle of fish on the food that allows them to be competitive in the later phases. And then a big focus towards pilgrimages into the central sacred sites, where you see these huge tug of wars for control. Anatand, on the other hand, has done something a little bit different. We've got an abbasid pick coming through. Abba's been creeping in recent KPMMs, but that's more on the flavorful map. So I'm thinking certain things like the new excavation map, where you have to dig stone anyway. Here it's a little bit different. You do get the cheaper dock, but not too much else to speak of. I wonder, is he thinking like a hunker down play where you just play like 2TC, land transition quickly? That would be a little bit risky against Knights Templar, I think. And also, wait, I just realized, historically relevant fight. This is literally the Crusade. So how do you contest KT here? Is it 2TC like we mentioned and then maybe play melee wing anyway so you get the health? Because like that's actually an interesting thought. Is Knights Templar usually like to build archer in the matchup? But if you can mirror archers and you get castle, composite bows is king. Fishing has been set up. Reminder, by the way, like you almost always see fishing here. It is extremely rare to not see someone dock drop. It's just too tempting. Even just the one deep water fish. And these two civs in particular do it very well. Knights Templar love any opportunity to gather wood. Like they're all about grabbing wood because they just manage to get extra sustenance out of it with the food. And then obviously for Abbasids, it's only 75 wood for a dock as well. Okay, how's the predictions looking, by the way? 66% for B. Okay, but if he doesn't win in less than 10 minutes, it's outrageous, right? And it is the Eco Wing. So we've just got him stacking up for the greed. Does this beat? I guess it does, right? Like, does it beat Knights Templar greeding on Sacred Sites? It should, because... So there's a few things to consider here. KT is not exactly what you call a good fast castling civ. Even though you kind of want to get relics now. They cannot escalate their pilgrim count quickly past 2. Because they'd have to start building forts, which cost 900 resources. So that's a problem. Compared to Abbasid, say, doing free TC, that's going to inflate a lot faster. On top of that, because he's going to be inclined to gather stone, he could even just think about going for the naval arrow slits, because these are the other logical edges to try and win water. That is crazy, by the way. He's going up to 6 fishing boats. Okay, so you're probably wondering why the hell is B doing this? It's a timing attack. He's going to exhaust the deep water fish quite quick by doing this. But I think, and I don't even think it's about land, I think this is about him building boats to attack sea. And then, once he wins over here, he can pull the free fishing boats. Very interesting. I don't like you. Dude, I can't find the person's name. Oh, there he is. I'll teach him to talk. You guys need to chill. You realize we're doing like 5 different jobs at once. Sheesh. Oh, wait, no. We should have taken the weirdo from earlier as our co-caster who wanted to call me. Because that phone call definitely wouldn't have just ended with a bunch of racial slurs that would have got me banned. Kakapa. So do you go free? I always feel like whenever you want to do Eco Wing, free makes a lot more sense. But then again, the thing we have been noticing more and more in the last year is Abbas is using Fertile Crescent to justify farms super early. Other side is now going to be the safe passage on the way. And Stable's beginning. So we're going to get Chevalier. Makes a lot of sense because Anatan might get tempted to build a TC out here. And if you have a Knight, that denies him the opportunity altogether. Should have interviewed the call and stream. The thing, okay, so like the thing you have to keep in mind, guys, like those type of things. There's a reason why those type of content creators don't do that stuff on Twitch anymore. Can you guess why? Because when you invite a random person on the internet onto your broadcast where they can be audibly heard, there are certain words they can just say to get you instantly banned. Funny that. And yeah, fresh few stuff should be coming in soon. You do have the mill these days. Second TC is being prioritized on the timing, though. No third, so it's just going to be the 2. Meanwhile, aggro comes in. So Anasand, he did go Naval Arislets. It's going to make it very annoying to kill him here, unless you want to start pumping a lot of demo ships. B could just basically pull 2 of the fishing boats and just keep healing the Hulk. But it's always annoying. You know, like, when you try to make this type of play, it seems simple. Like, oh, yeah, just it's only heal with fishing boat and kill building. Oh, pause that thought. Maybe kill villager. Ah, it doesn't get him, though. But to the point of the issue, if you just slowly try to kill this, your opponent could always start pumping demos when you're not looking. So watching and guarding the Hulk is very time-consuming, actually. Chevalier is going to run the tree line, but great reactions. Antan not losing any units so far. An archer ship on the way. Wait, what? Does that work? Because if your opponent kites, the demo ship can be repaired. Well, luckily for Anno, B hasn't noticed what's happening here. We'll dive in now. It's going to deny the villager coming back. And the demo ship, this is the thing, you just repair. Like, you can actually just repair it now. Yeah, great read. B, got to be careful with that fishing boat, though. One does go down. Good dodging, but not good enough. Demo is going to detonate. Okay, so Anatan barely getting away with that there. And on land, we do now have camel archers on the way. A bit of a predicament, but B is looking for a resolution elsewhere. This is a castle age build from Knights Templar. A little bit surprising as well. We said this is not really a civ that rushes age ups for good reason. It tends to cost them a lot on economy. Still, Anno's eco lead is deceptive. Remember, 3 of his are just not working. Oh, you can say the same the other way, though. B, bringing the fishing boats out like this is expensive. And a demo ship now on the way. Has got the archer ship camping, so it should be difficult to get in. Love the way that B's just been using these fishing boats to absorb all the blows, though. That's a bit ambitious. Wait. Wait. He hasn't realized? Oh my god, he actually gets away with it. That was sick. So now these two can just chain feed health into each other. That's crazy. That was so close as well. I think Anatan had a small window where if he clicked, he would have got the fishing boat kill. Because remember, if he doesn't have 2 fishing boats here, he can't stay here doing this. So tech up on the way, and we are going to be seeing Angevin Empire. Okay. Well, makes sense on this map, guys. Genoa is definitely nice for the extra gold gen, but if you get the fortresses up, they're going to feel unkillable with Angevin. I think that often gets overlooked. Remember, Angevin gives 30% more HP. Docks and fortresses. And if you put your opponent on the clock, especially after he goes 2 TC, it makes that escalation to siege all that much more difficult. So yeah, I kind of dig it. It's a cool pick on this map for sure. Fishboat is going to get denied. Looks like he is going to get rid of the dock, though. So you might see a transport ship play here just to set up. Especially now that you've got Angevin, your own dock is going to be very tanky. Time being, it looks like Greedy Boy B was trying to move out. What the hell happened here? Wait, what? Oh my god. Did he just massacre them? What? That's not just 2 TC, guys. That's not just 2 TC. We were so distracted on the pond, I think a single camel archer just wrecked his world. That's ridiculous. That must have been, what, 6 villagers out on the deer, probably? And he kills practically all of them. Absolutely wild, because I think he's killed, what, 3 fishing boats on the dive, so 5 villagers on land. And now Anasand, all he needs to do is hunker down and wait. That is wild. And reminder, it's worker kill, so it means Anatan has killed 8 workers. And I believe 3 of them were fishing boats. Maybe 4. And B, he will at least get the pilgrims in, so that's going to offset the sting a little bit. But this is still a bad position to be in. He needs the relics, and he needs them yesterday. Problem is, your opponent's already spamming camel archers. I think this is another part of the thought from B for spearmen, is if he built normal spears, they get countered by camel archers because of the double damage. Heavy spears will get kited, but they won't kill quickly, right? Like, the camel archers won't get bonus against you. They're only going to do 7 damage to you per strike. But it's still pretty high base damage into a unit that's going to be kited. So this is cannon fodder right now for B. It buys time so that he can get his real objectives. And somewhat pays for itself with the Pilgrims, if you think about it. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, you don't really think about heavy spearmen in this way. You want them to be this absorber. You're not expecting DPS, but full cannon fodder is a bit wacky. Ever since the nerfs as well, where they did actually increase the cost of the units. See if it pays off. It feels like they may be dying a bit too fast. Yeah, because the problem right here, guys, is that B isn't killing anything. This is a snowball effect. I always like the simplest metaphor, like comparison, is when you have a men-at-arms rush against you and you build a wall. And it's like the wall's good at first, but the wall isn't fighting back. Well, these spears are B's mobile wall. They're great for a bit, but they are not going to return fire in a way that means anything. And you're seeing how this is already snowballing. Anatan, maybe I'd win this game without even aging up. And 2 relics are at least on the way home. But we're at a point where Pilgrims are now going to be starved off here. Camel archers easily move in. Get the double snipe. So close to reaching the site. He looks kind of stuck. He's starting to gather stone gradually. If he can get a fortress online here, it changes the look of the game, because then he can secure Pilgrims. He has done a good job on the relics, because it is at least going to be 3 relics his way. And there's still the opportunity to go for the fort, remember, because he could always go wide and try and sneak past this blockade. B don't care who would rally like that. I think B does care about winning. And the reason he don't care, like, it's cannon fodder. The whole idea, the reason you rally like this is so your opponent doesn't come here. Because this is the double-edged sword of Knights Templar. They get a lot of value off the map, but if you can't be on the map, you lose. So this is him sacrificing an arm so the body can continue to exist. It's just getting less and less profitable as this goes on. Love the archer switch timing. It's a smart read. With veterancy plus range 2, this is a competitive comp. The problem now is getting the count. Yeah, because military numbers are a lie. Some of this is on C. Not under mesh 2 either. I guess that makes sense. The steel arrow is high priority here because there's already such high base damage on the camel archers. However, the archers got revealed early. He doesn't even have veterancy yet. Does secure on the close sacred site. The third relic is coming home, but I think the problem here is like B just needs more food and wood, and those early hits on his economy is kind of hurting. In fact, there's been more coming in. Wait, actually no, there's a pilgrim so far. I always get thrown off by the pilgrim count. Reminder, guys, worker kills, pilgrims count for that. FC Delhi is worse than this? Yeah. Well, sort of. I mean, you can get scholars to a reasonable count with an FC build. Knights Templar, the thing you have to keep in mind is, like, Knights Templar is truly probably the worst civ in the game for true fast castling. Like, 7-8 minutes fast castling. Because you lose so many villages. It's a huge percentage of your economy at that stage. B should have went Genitors for camel archers. You can't guarantee that, though. Like, if I saw you building Genitors, I'd just stop building camel archers. Then what? Like, Genitors is not a great answer. Genitors is probably the single worst unit Knights Templar have access to. Their attack animation makes them unusable. So military wing now on the way. Anatan, this is a bit worrisome for B because he could just pivot now into archers. And remember, when you get the veterancy in on both sides, abbasid archers are vastly superior to Knights Templar archers. Wait, what? Wait, is this the first time we've seen this in a competitive game? Guys, we have l'autre de change. I think that's how you say it. De change? Change should be change, right? L'autre de change. The Pilgrim loans. I've yet to see a single pro use this. Okay. Now remember, this is where you pay a bunch of food to get gold, but you kind of need food for that, no? What? That's wild. This ability feels weird to me every time. In late game, it feels great, but I wish there was a version where you could use gold to get food, because if you're getting loads of pilgrims, you can afford gold. It's food you can't. And this choice right here, like, you haven't seen it before, guys. No one ever takes the pilgrim loans. Because I think the points in the game where we see Knights Templar most, early mid-game, it doesn't make sense. Food is the thing running out, not gold. Yeah, so reminder, you pay a big upfront cost of resource to get a gradual income of something else. And honestly, it always looks underwhelming. Like, paying 1,000 food to get 600 gold is not great. And oi, oi, oi. Wait, is B snatched? He has! Guys, we have a 5 relic game. Okay, this makes l'autre de change even weirder. What do you need it for? Is B doing this? Well, he's got the fortress on the way. Anatan still has a better economy, but credit to him. We talked about B, his win condition being around these fortresses is achieving it, and it gets better and better. Your opponent hasn't switched into the composite bow archers. On top of that, once you drop these castles, remember, someone that usually gets forgotten because it's rarely the focal point, I feel like. They have a 15% range buff. So your archers are easily going to be able to out DPS and out trade against the camel archers. This is crazy. He's working some voodoo magic right now. So Anatan with crossbows coming in. Lancers as well. Don't you just ghoul them this? It's weird. This is something polarizing, I think, about heavy spears. It's hard to find the situation where they're very justifiable, but here, it does make sense. Your opponent can't go composite bow archers because of that, presumably. You can't really rely on golems because golems are usually great at clearing spears, but this has 4 melee armor. This is wild. I got a big smile on my face though, man. Because I thought this was just going to be a wash. I was starting to get a little bit worried for B with the way the early game went for Anatan, but this confidence has to be surging. And stone's being gathered, by the way. Second fortress is coming in soon. This is the snowball effect that makes Knights Templar so good on this map. You're talking about a thin map, a water map where like Knights Templar are pretty good at trying to contest early, but then you have a funnel point with 2 sacred sites. Everything you need is on this strip. If you keep drop it, they can't get through, and you also get more escalation into gold. And it almost becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like as you get more fortresses, you can afford more fortresses. The biggest challenge for Knights Templar, and why we rarely see it go that well, is getting the first fortresses up. The first one in particular, let alone 2, are the thing that usually seals the deal against Knights Templar. But you see why a map like this is actually really good for the Civ. Like, where's Anatan meant to raid right now? So difficult to sneak in unnoticed compared to a map like Dry Arabia. Do we have... Okay, no treasure towers yet. Honestly, he has 5 relics soon. Treasure towers makes a lot of sense. Flash on the south side. We'll be able to defend it, though. The heavy spears don't look like they're going to be done quick enough here. Yeah, and he's doing a good job with the archers, just sniping out the crossbows as he goes. And this is the other awkward thing. I find when you scale camel archers, the count gets too high, it gets weird. You just end up blobbing and always getting hit by melee. Spirals, in the meantime, are going to be taken out. The heavy spear line has thinned, but there's more reinforcements on the way, and the lead is ever building here for B. Not just that, a castle drop had to come in from Anatan to counterplay this. The villagers, it's going to be an overflow, so some losses to be had there. The Camel Archers are going to be forced to retreat. Now, not the end of the road for Anatan. He has already made that farm transition semi. He's up to 32 in total. Credit to him, B. Just brute forcing his way through. There's some other techs that'd be really handy here. I wonder if he goes for it. Desert Citadels in particular is great because of the +1/+1 aura. Especially now that you're going to be up against things like Gulam Crossbow, Camel Archers. A lot of mitigation value there. A reminder, these archers now have easier trades. The 5.75 tower range expanding across pretty much everywhere they're going to be fighting. Now the question here is, does B go for a third fortress on the front line or one at home? Because if he sets one up at home, he can set them up on the monasteries and then go for treasure towers. Treasure towers will buff the amount of gold he gets from sacred sites, but it's also going to buff the amount of gold he gets from capturing them and also the gold he gets from nearby relics. Treb's already in position from B. And this is a très bien game coming out from him so far. So what's Anatan's get out of jail free? Does he actually have one? Your opponent doesn't have permanent food. That is definitely an issue to consider for B. But the thing that we've seen time and time again from Knights Templar is they don't need food on this map. Sounds weird, but hear me out. What if instead of building units with 2 legs, we just built units with 4 wheels? You're getting all this gold. You have plenty of wood on this map. It's just a dead obvious call from there. Siege. So that's the thing that Anatan needs to answer for. Now, most civs struggle with answering that because of the lack of farms quick enough to get horsemen. But that's where Abbasid is a little bit different, remember. They're able to scale farms super efficiently with Eco Wing. Castle's going to get dropped in the meantime. So second sacred site should get locked in, and that's when the time is going to start ticking. We also do have Desert Citadels on the way. I would love to see some walls. I think walls here are just so underrated. Remember, if you build the stone walls in range of the fortress in this influence range, you're going to get a bunch of arrow slits as well. And the reason it makes sense on this map more than most is because of the linear nature, your opponent has to come to you. Lancers are trying to be cheeky in the flanks. I think they did find 1 or 2 workers. More stone being gathered, so B getting ready for an additional keep drop soon. So the debate going on about heavy spears, the way the heavy spears cleared the map, though, isn't the way that you brag them as OP. They are a good tank. They're a cost-efficient tank. Like, what B done remarkably well with spears in this game wasn't that he somehow brute forced the fight and won it. It's that he stopped Anatan winning the fight. Right? It's kind of like that stoic character that doesn't attack you back, but doesn't feel damage either. Now, of course, these guys felt damage. They died over time. But they bought the time necessary for B to exist in this game. It's pretty crazy. He looked dead. Think about how big the eco difference was when you came into Castle Age. Think about how many of you in chat just 5 or 10 minutes ago were saying, can't fast Castle Knights Templar, it kills you. We were highlighting this a very difficult thing to justify on this civ. But B has done it. And now he's in control. Eco and military numbers are pretty much switched around here. And B's going to look to push that military edge. He's on the edge of reaching the farm clusters. That's important. Anatan is bobbing into Gulam, but this is problematic into mass heavy spears. On top of that, B's already prepping his favorite unit in Age of Empires 4. He's got Springles. So remember, Gulams benefit from low armor units. And heavy spears are not that. No, not only that. They're higher base health, higher base damage than standard spears. Reinforcements already arriving, though. Villagers are going to be pulled to try and deal with the siege. We need to body block that. So, spears get in perfect position. Archers now sniping them down. And Anatan, this is crazy. It's a Congo line of villagers to the center. He knows he needs the siege gone. He clears the trebuchet, but the mangonels are something difficult to answer right now. He's starting to clump up a little bit. If he hits those villagers, It could just be over. I know. Rotating around now. The mangoes go deeper. The archers are target firing them down, but the textiles makes it difficult. However, the sprinkled shots are big. This is ridiculous right now. Both players are losing economy. Backside Lancers also find the wood gathering from B. And the numbers now tilting in favor of Anno. You asked the question, you got your answer. Golems will beat them. Oh my god, it's not just the Golems though. The Camel Archers have been coming in clutch here to make sure it has the high base damage to wipe through the Spearmen one by one. Wall's not going up, so B, he's getting the arrow slits. It's happening. Every tiny defense he can muster is going to be necessary here. Spiral crews are now arriving. And the Golem line, at least on the front side, is thinning a bit. That's because the second wave is distracted right now. We've got outpost emplacements up the wazoo from B. And now Anatan looks to break out. He looks at the decap while he gets a bit of breathing room here. Wait, is he really just A-clicking in? Okay, he switches over now. New Spimner's on the way. That's going to delay the decap. B says, I'm not done yet. Both players hemorrhaging a lot of economy and military, but it's looking like Anatan has ran out of steam. At least for the push now, he can't get a second wave in fast enough. So the slowdown is going to benefit B after the reset. He lost a lot of troopers there, but when the army gets this small, Anatan can't really get a decap. And the Pilgrims are getting ridiculous now. He didn't go for Treasure Tower still, so it's not escalating further. And remember, it's not Genoa, so it's not an insane amount of gold he's capable of here. Also, eco numbers are even more deceptive when you consider that B has got all these fishing boats constantly doing this. There's a lot of inefficiency there. Golems also finding their way into the farm. Okay, but what's next for Anno? We're getting a switch now into composite bows. And you know what? Like, it seems questionable. Makes sense. Your opponent just went Springwalds. On top of that, he's going crossbows. So composite bow archers would actually be the golden solution for a lot of your problems. Speaking of golden age is almost here. That production is going to be important. Anatan has almost 3,000 food. His issue at this pacing is going to be getting units out quick enough. And alleviate a lot of that problem. That is ugly though. Anatan needs to stop trickling troops. Feels pressure to do so, but gives openings. Golems, this is a weird dynamic by the way. Golems, they look like they're countered by Springwalds, but they're also the counter to Springwalds due to the double strike. Good micro though. B barely gives him anything, and look at the damage on the health bars. He walks in for a second and almost loses 30 Golems. It is crazy how good Springwalds are these days, even after the recent slight nerfs. Definitely a unit that's starting to find his footing. Looking bloody strong against this comp. He's going to do it again. B, he turns the shots. Anatan trying to show some respect, but even the rotation around, you see how expensive it is. Like, I don't know how these guys are ever meant to win the game for you. It's impossible. He needs the archers stat. Let's say he'll be able to stab at a few more. Range forces are now arriving as the counterplay into Springwalds, but credit to B, man. We talked about it. Siege is the way you want to play Knights Templar on this map because you have plenty of gold and not much of else. Well, this is the unit that a lot of people forget about. Mango is usually the first thought on most KT players' minds. The Springwalds have definitely earned their role in this army. Heavy Spearman Springwalds. Is this like... Wait, is this like maybe Knights Templar's most toxic comp? Now that I think about it, it is pretty crazy how effective it is. It kind of reminds me a little bit of old school Chinese nested bee spear. Just more tanky. And in some ways, more consistent DPS. And it does get a pushback. He has revealed the composite bow plan. But remember, this is still difficult to do into the heavy spears. Your damage is reasonable. It's not exactly feisty on the push timing. And well, you got to push soon. We're down to 4 minutes until it'll be a Sacred Site victory for B. Anatan needs a win or a decap. What a wacky game. I kind of feel bad about rotating Lakeside out. I got to give it to the players. This map has, weirdly enough, been delivering some bangers the last 2 weeks. In a way that I never felt it used to, actually. Heavy Spear counts back up to 30. The problem with this Horseman is great against the Springles, but how the hell do you ever get them in? What's the best comp against Heavy Spear Springles? I think it's meant to be crossbows. Crossbow. And then what, though? Horseman? Like, crossbows should be your MVP, in theory. Actually, could you not do Springald in return? Crossbow Springald, maybe? I think Crossbow Springald is probably your best comp. But he's not going into it. Instead, he just remains bio. B remains in control here. Rams are now arriving to try and deal with these annoying outposts. That's the other problem, I think, for Anno is maybe a little bit blind going into these stealth forests in a way that B is not, and he knows he cannot get in. It's happened. From such an uncomfortable position, a huge eco lead, B is still able to strike it out with a win here on the Pants map.